What's going on today, everybody? So I've got the itch to actually work on these taillights again. I've got a lot of work to do on the center parts, but I want to get a feel for what this looks like with LEDs in it and maybe hold it up to the car, get it pretty close to being done, so I can see if I even like the design. One thing that I'm really worried about is this section. I don't think I'm gonna like having it like that. I think I want to have them kind of come in a different way. I think I want to do something different because it doesn't really follow the rest of the lights. Kind of just does whatever it wants to on this corner. And on top of that, when you put it in, the lights actually come into this little ridge right here. I can't really get this ridge out. Goes more on this corner. This corner has a lot more of the ridges going through the lights. So I don't think I'm gonna like that. And it's not quite a perfect fit. I got it real close, but there's still a little bit in this corner where it needs to come down to about right here. There you go. So you can see how much it's not in the corner. This one fits mildly decent. This other part, not even close. It needs to be it's got a lot more of a curve actually in it. So I did upsize it from the drawing a little bit, but it needs about like an inch and a half more to go. I need to get these two pieces together so they're actually one, but I want to get a feel for what the lights are going to look like. I don't have the sequential stuff set up quite yet, but I do want to do some tinkering and maybe some different type of stuff. And I don't have the whites. The whites aren't cut out in this section either. There's supposed to be white lights in here. This is just the orange and the red. So again, I want to see what it looks like and make sure that I like it. Make sure that this is going to be a decent way to go through and actually wire everything up, because you have to do it in certain sections and you have to do certain things. So without further ado, let's get these, put them into these, and make some taillights out of it. First things first, you got to come up with a plan. I kind of got a plan of attack on how I'm going to do these lights. I'll have red going on this outside, orange right here, and then whites in the middle. So I have to wire them separately based on that. And with that, you need to know what each of your settings are for every little bit. So this is for my orange ones. And this is for how many LEDs I have, what the resistor I need to make the light look the same as it. So if I do 3, or what is that? If I do 2 and 5, the lights won't be dim. Now, that being said, you want to keep as many as you can how they are. So I think I have it set up to where there's groups of 6 on everything except for 1. I think I got a group of 5 in this inner tail light. Yeah, I do. I got a group of 5 right here. But everything else is 6. So these 3 and these 3 will be connected. That way it will give us that chasing pattern. One thing that kind of sucks is I've got one too many on the top here than the bottom. So this row actually will get in line with this row down here. So these two need to blink at the same time, and then this row and this row will blink. So like I said, I still got some thinking to do. I definitely need to mess with this a little bit more. I think I need to move this one out or get rid of this one and move this one in. So I've got a lot of thinking to do. I definitely want to get lights in it, though, to figure out what works and what doesn't. So we'll get on to getting these LEDs in here. So first thing that I got to do is I got to figure out what to do with these LEDs, because when I printed this out, one side was laying down. So the first layer you want to be squished super hard onto that the glass so it sticks. Well, that's causing me to have just a little bit over what the actual LED's outer diameter is. And what it's causing is this is such tight tolerances. I think that's one thing I'm going to fix. But what it's causing is these are coming apart and breaking on me. Can't really see too well, but there you can see it moving. These little pieces are just barely breaking on me here. So what I'm gonna do, take a drill bit, measure out with my caliper the outer diameter. It should be 5 mils, pretty close to 5 mils since they're 5 mil LEDs. So get that, find a drill bit that's really close, and drill each one of these holes out and make them just a little bit bigger. Speeding up the process, I've got my drill bit in, and I'll just put it on the drill press. With these LEDs, there's a long wire side and a short wire side. The long wire is your positive, short's your negative. You can also tell by you kind of can see it, but there's a bigger side and a smaller side in here. The bigger side is your negative side, generally. That's a little more inconsistent, but your longest and shortest is very consistent across all different brands of LEDs. So longest positive, shortest negative, and I'm lining all of them up in line. So I'm doing 3 at a time, making sure my positives are all facing the same way. And then going through, and my resistor's going across this one, so I need to leave this outside one, and my bottom one's going to be my ground. So I'm going to bend this one over so I can use it as a ground, and then cut the rest of these ones off real quick at a decent height. So I'll have to bend each one over so the power goes through each one, and bend over, so I don't want to cut a whole bunch off. Well, I don't want to cut too much. You don't want to cut not enough. So I've been having pretty decent luck. There's a little tab, but cut them all off. Get rid of all those. And then you can bend each one of these tabs over and then solder between the two LEDs. There's a better look of what the cuts actually look like. And I'll bend these tabs over. So this one will get bent over to touch, well, here. This one will get bent over to touch this one, and then this one will get bent over to touch this one. And then a resistor will go through there up to the outside one of this one, and the same setup will be over here. Got all of them bent over, and you can kind of see that you don't want too much overlap because it'll touch the other one, but you want enough to where you can get some solder in between those ports. So next thing, so I'm going to throw some solder in between these so that they stay connected and they'll stay in this housing. So we've got a very decent start on this. What I'm doing is I'm connecting these 6 together, going negative down here, up, across the resistor, up, and that'll be positive. So that's top rung will be positive side, this bottom will be negative side, and it will skip between each one for top and bottom. So here I've actually got some of the work actually done. I've got my 6 right here that are in line. This jumper goes around. It's tight. I'm going to have to figure something else out. I definitely have to space these 2 sets out further because they're way too close. But I've got 3 sets done, and I've got power. And if I hook this up, I've actually got LEDs. So if I flip this over, that's what it's looking like so far. I think it'll look pretty good. We definitely have a couple of things to fix, but this is why I wanted to do this, to figure out what I actually needed to fix. And that space right there definitely isn't going to be enough. That being said, I still have to connect to this negative rail, so I'll connect all my negative together through everything. But my positive rails will be bottom down here. These ones will actually have to go across, but this positive rail will be fine. but this negative one, I just don't have enough room between putting an LED in there and trying to jump across. But it's a start, that's for sure. Really excited to see this coming along. Cool, well the process is going to be the same. Soldering, putting LEDs in, soldering, putting more LEDs in. So I'm going to let you guys, spare you guys the inconvenience of having to deal with it. But I will get the rest of this stuff done. I might save it because I don't want to waste a whole bunch of materials. Because I know I'm not going to use these now. But it's a good indication. I might do a couple more. I want to do some yellows or oranges technically to see what the orange looks like as opposed to the red. I want to make sure that they're a different color. I mean, they're a different color, but enough distinction between them. And then go through and figure out anything else that I need, because if I do some of the oranges, some of the reds, and some of the whites, maybe I'll have some other design that I need to actually accomplish with doing that and accommodate them within the version 2 of the taillights, but we'll see. I want to thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know. Would you like to do this to your car? I've always liked it. I hated halogen lights. I hate the way the bulbs look, and I love the way that the LEDs look. So, cool. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.